So, welcome to meditation practice today. Remember that this is a practice. So, it's definitely not something that we can always feel really good about. Sometimes there's frustrations because our minds are very chaotic, known as a monkey mind. That's normal. It happens to the best of us, and we'll work through that together today. Please join me. I'll show you my setup. Most importantly, I want you to make sure that you're really cozy. So, like, I have a little space heater because it's cold in my spot. And you'll notice scarf and socks. We should be comfy enough that we feel like we can rest for a good 20 minutes. I just use it's an old rug, believe it or not, and a couch cushion so that I have something really soft, and that sits on top of my yoga mat. You may, though, prefer to be lying. If you do, that's a wonderful way to practice because your spine is really comfy and long. Just try not to fall asleep. We don't want to get that comfy. If you're able to, please step away from everything that's led you up to this point today. So if you're able to silence your phone, if you're able to get away from your desk chair and your computer monitor, that will really help you ease in. In order to establish a regular practice, try to designate a spot. If you can, get a spot in your house, even if it's in a closet, that you can go and get away and be with yourself without distractions. It can be difficult to sit right on down and expect our bodies to cooperate. So I recommend fidgeting to get all of the movements into your body that make you feel a little looser, a little lighter up top, a little heavier down low. Definitely moving through your neck, especially if you've been looking at a computer all day. Give yourself a little tick-tock to the left and the right. Look over each shoulder. Drop your chin down towards your collarbone once you're there. And then look over your opposite shoulder. Drop your chin to your collarbone. If you get some pops in your neck, I always like that. It feels like space is being created. If it feels good for you, chin to chest and a little bit of a semicircle roll, ears towards shoulders. And then the best thing to do is to stretch up really tall. So let's bring our arms high to sky. If you just want to reach, that's great. You could clasp your hands and flip your palms, but use your ribs like you're climbing a ladder. Lift one side, lift the other, lift again. Stay as long as you can, and then let your arms rest somewhere really heavy, whether it's at your sides. We can make a little cup near our belly. Rest our palms heavily somewhere up to bring in energy, down to calm ourselves and help us ground. And once you're comfortable, my friends, know that at any point during our practice, if you have to shift and change, please do. You don't want your body to bother you so that you can't focus on our meditation. Welcome to today's practice, which is breath and body awareness. If possible, close your eyes. Feels really good to block out light and external stimulation. If that doesn't feel quite good for you, my recommendation is to look right down the bridge of your nose, all the way to a very still point on your floor. And if possible, begin to flutter your eyelids, maybe not all the way closed, but to little slits, so that whatever you're looking at becomes unfocused and blurry, allowing you to come in and immerse yourself in your breath. As you're arriving, breathe in through both nostrils. Envision or feel those two cool threads of breath. Open your mouth and sigh warm air out. Give yourself a big sigh of relief that you've arrived. The hardest part is over. Getting here is the hard part. The rest, my friends, is nothing but bliss. Breathe in again through your nose. Open mouth, sigh. My favorite way to arrive is 3 of these. Let's try one more together. And then establish whatever feels normal for your breathing. Noticing how we're beginning to feel fully supported and held, carried by not only the supports that are underneath of us or around us, but Mother Earth below us. using every exhalation we make together to allow more heaviness and release to come into our bodies. Try to take notice of any part that's in contact with something else, whether it's your palms against another body part or an article of clothing, your backside against a support. Allowing our bodies to begin that process of releasing, gravity taking over, you may actually feel yourself as we proceed begin to sink more deeply into those supports along the points of contact you've identified. Give yourself permission right now to melt, to let go. I love visuals, so I love to actually see myself in anything that feels right for you, whether it's an ice cube melting or honey melting down over something. Maybe it's butter pooling wide in a warm pan. Literally see something melting and see if you can bring those same sensations into your body. Fully releasing. Enabling this to happen by noticing the simple rhythm of our breath, flowing in and flowing out. The out breath gives us just a bit more of that release we're craving. Our goal for today will be to focus on our breath and body. But please never feel like a failure when your mind wanders. That happens to me almost every single practice. Our mind will naturally tend towards thinking, planning, or worrying. Your goal is to gently guide it back to your breath and your physical body and surroundings. Be proud of that moment. Be proud that you noticed that you got lost. That's a really good thing. You're aware. You're in your present moment. Guide it back to breath or body, whatever feels best. Now, I ask you in your meditations that you approach with curiosity, open-mindedness as a beginner or as a child would. Allow everything to be as it is. In other words, we're not forcing anything, whether it be our breath. We're not forcing ourselves to relax. We're just simply becoming presently conscious and aware of what is happening within, around our bodies, and how our breath is moving. Let's take 3 more breaths in together and notice where you're feeling or noticing something happen. At its most basic level, can you feel or see those 2 threads of breath moving in and out of your nostrils? And we'll learn how to ungrip as we practice today. But if you're feeling pretty open in your chest, you could notice a rise and fall in your throat or your chest area. If you're especially practiced with deep breathing, you could already feel your belly open and close or your ribs expanding and contracting. Let that be a goal for our practice of using breath to move like a jellyfish, like you can breathe and expand in every direction. And let's begin the process of relaxing our facial features as we work with the breath. Relax the hinge of your jaw. Can you separate your bottom teeth from your top? Can you consciously rest your tongue on the back of your bottom teeth? Soften your lips. And then re-notice your breath moving. Let's try to see or feel any tension that's presently on our facial features, and then consciously relax them. So I like to see the lines of focus and concentration in our foreheads. And then just as quickly, if you had a big eraser and could make that area smooth, flat, and free of tension, feel that happening. Get a big swipe across your forehead, leaving behind a stress-free, carefree, worry-free surface. And allow that heaviness to fall around the corners of your eyes, in between your brows, and over each eyebrow. So all laugh and storylines are just melting down off of our faces. Swipe that heaviness under each eye and down the bridge of your nose. Across your cheeks, you can go up and down or left to right, but just feel a sense of heavy release coming into your face. So it might feel like your earlobes, the skin on your cheeks, chin, and around your neck could hang a bit heavier here once they've released tension. As you're working through your facial features, continue a normal, unforced rhythm of breath, noticing how it is and letting it be exactly as it is. No judgment, just a beautiful sense of open curiosity. Being right here, right now, in this very moment. Let's use our breath to float all the way down to our toes and our feet. Can you take a really big breath in? See it stretch all the way down to the furthest corners of your toes, the tips of your toenails, down through the sole of your feet and your heel. What do you notice there? Do you have any sensations? And please remember that as we work through your body, if you are unable to notice sensations, that is fine as well. That's what you're noticing. And we sit and breathe with what is. But you may be noticing some sensations on your skin, possibly temperature sensations. Maybe your toes have gotten cold as you sat here. Just noticing. Not attaching any story or narrative to it. Are there sensations of texture, possibly clothing or supports, whatever your feet or toes are resting against? And then on a deeper level, come into your joints, into all of the bones. Anything that you have sensed is wonderful because you've developed presence. Stay committed. Continue breathing into the tips of your toes, the bottom of your soles, and then breathe back out, giving your feet to your supports, letting them rest just a bit more heavily than when you found them a moment ago. Really see this area of your body. Feel this area of your body. Sometimes we'd like to give a little squeeze. You may curl everything in a little tighter and then simply relax. Sometimes that little squeeze, that little hug or sense of love can allow you to let go even more fully. Take a big breath in and then a huge relieving exhalation. On your next breath in, let's bring attention, a gentle attention to your legs, your ankles, your shins, your calves, your knees and your thighs, the front and the back of your legs. Inhale, I love to see that breath. See it stimulate your legs. Like you could enliven every single cell into a shiny, new, happy, smiley object. And as you exhale, see it pass through all those areas of your legs again, but let them rest a bit more heavily. And as we're noticing our legs, it's okay to shift around so you can physically allow yourself to deepen in those areas. Fully rest into your supports, possibly even more deeply, like you could imprint into your supports and rest down into Mother Earth. And as we brought our attention to our legs, what sensations arose? Was there anything that we noticed on the skin of our legs? Anything that we're in contact with? Is it possible to breathe and come more deeply into these areas of your body? Could you even notice the pulsing of your blood flowing through these extremities? See if you can tap into it. Let's be aware of anything that is arising. Non-judgmental, kind, compassionate awareness to whatever is. Breathing in. And I love to take a moment of gratitude for how hard our legs, let's include our feet and toes, how hard that area of our body, our lower half, works for us all day, every single day. Let's breathe in and really acknowledge that, like you could muster all of your energy into those areas, pull them into a really tight hug. And as you breathe out, give just a bit more of yourself down into your supports as everything from your thighs down rests heavily. Just a reminder, if you're feeling unaware of establishing a connection between any of your body parts today, any sensations, please consider meeting that with acceptance as well. It's perfectly wonderful to just sit here, breathe, and be as you are. Let's send our attention now, send our breath into our hips, our pelvis, our backsides. Bring awareness into these areas. When you breathe in, are you able to widen left to right? Can you move front to back with your breath? Are you able to make a little bit more space down into your hips? Can you see an openness, a brightness and a lightness coming into those areas as you fill all the nooks and crannies with your breath? Once again, noticing sensations and giving space and acceptance to whatever you're noticing. On an exhalation, if possible, let's bring a heaviness, more weight coming into hips, pelvis, and backside so we can rest just a bit more wide, more openly, more deeply into this moment as we sit or lie here. Skin level sensations, we're continuing to be aware of them. We could feel tingling, anything deep within our flesh and bones as well. And that could include aches and pains. We're just noticing and breathing. And with a real kindness, our awareness gently moves to the areas of our back. Breathing in, try to lengthen your lower back, your mid back, and your upper back. So if you were seated, you may have felt yourself grow a couple of inches. If you're lying, you may have felt yourself spread a little wider or become a little longer into your surface. And then as you exhale, every time we're going to try to keep this beautifully confident, elongated posture, but rest a bit more heavily into your surroundings. And as you notice your back, all of the areas of your back, bring a kind attention and care to it. This is one of those parts of our bodies that a lot of us experience some twinges, if not chronic pain in. So breathing into these areas can be wonderful. Breathe in with loving, caring attention. Exhale, possibly allowing space to come, lightness, good positive energy, and maybe even a bit of release. Breath in and breath out. Please guide your attention to your stomach, your chest. Allow these areas to widen and soften as you breathe. Are you holding tension? A very common place for us to grip, for us to have tightness in, and we can feel panic because when these areas are gripped and tight, it's very difficult to fully breathe. There is no judgment, we're just noticing. And if we're able to, inviting release into these areas of our bodies with every exhalation. This is a process, this is a practice. So it's not something that we can feel like we've cured every tightness or ache and pain in our body with one little practice. This is something that we strive to do every week, building up to several times a week and possibly shorter sessions every day. So please know that every breath you're taking is helpful, even if it's not fully curing, relieving, or fixing anything that we're noticing. A gentle sense of awareness comes to our shoulders, our arms, and our hands, and you may like to really stretch them out as you breathe in, like you've got energy coursing through those areas of your body, and then simply allowing them to rest again as we exhale. The length of our arms, from shoulders through tips of fingers, breathing and noticing sensations in our palms, our wrists, our forearms, elbows, upper arms, underarms, and all around your shoulder joint. Can you bring a whimsical curiosity to what is happening in these areas? Open yourself, literally and physically open yourself with kindness to whatever may be. When I breathe into these areas, I feel a little bit of growing left to right, a little bit of growing front to back as I find more openness with that out breath. And then just as quickly allow things to settle a bit more heavily down the length of your body, back into the floor and into your supports. Attention to your neck, your head, and your face again. Inhaling with awareness to our skull, the top of our head, our hair follicles, the front and back of our neck. Can you allow any tension in your scalp to dissipate? Kindness and care to any sensations you're experiencing. I love to see tension rolling like waves off the back of my body. See if you can exhale and let a little bit of it go. And then let's bring a gentle awareness to our entire bodies as a whole, top to bottom, front to back, left to right. Like you could envelop it in this little breath bubble, a bubble of positivity coming in, attention, and then release as you let go. Gratitude once again towards our bodies and just how precious this life is. Now, as we begin to close our practice together, as we scan through, if you noticed any particular areas or many that felt tired, felt weak, if you noticed pain or you're ill, if you're consumed by trauma in certain or several areas, Please consider repeating your breath practice, breathing in and bringing a special sense of love and nurture to these areas as you breathe. It may be possible to allow a tiny bit of whatever you're experiencing to dissipate, and it may not be. That's okay as well. We're here to hold space for what we're finding. Eventually, with practice, with care, kind attention, anything that we're noticing will begin to recede. Let's call upon the healthy areas of our body to support the parts that are in need with extra care and compassion. We can surround these tender areas of our bodies with love and allow our gift of mindfulness and your newfound sense of presence to fully penetrate these areas with beautiful healing breath. If it's possible for you to stay longer in this moment today, I do recommend a few more breaths, especially if you've noticed an area that gives you a hard time. Definitely take time moving out of our meditation and transitioning into your next tasks. I urge you to continue moving through your day with this wonderfully and carefully cultivated attention to your breath, mindful and compassionate sense of presence. Now that you've slowed down enough to become aware and present, allow this gift, this renewed sense of self-awareness to become a part of your entire day, every aspect of your life. Breathe, then move and respond. I hope that you can move forward this afternoon with a calm sense of knowing that whatever arises is as it should be. My friends, thank you for practicing breath and body awareness with me today. Bring hands over your heart and tuck your chin down towards your chest, lengthening through the back of your neck. The light in me honors, acknowledges, is inspired, humbled by, and grateful for each and every one of your lights. Namaste, my friends.